And I'm going to pull up some other examples here just because it shows quite nicely. Here's an example where it's the same sort of thing. They've got some sort of framing that's going to go on, and I'll sketch on top of this as well. So I'm going to draw the actual deck boards that would hang over that edge, and then they would be mitered in here. So there's deck board 1, and then there's the beam miter here. There's deck board 2. Now I'm going to show it slightly shy of that edge because in here this is a bit closer. And I'm using freehand lines, and I shouldn't, but that's okay. It's a quicker way than drawing straight lines. So in here, I'm going to switch to straight lines just because I didn't like the look of it. This is the direction that the deck boards are going to go in, and they need to be supported at the two ends and then across the framing. So that's what we're going to get here, and they're going to be, again, supported right along that edge all the way through here. So the board underneath is supporting the ends of these deck boards, and then this board is supporting these deck boards as they come in right across here, and that's important. Now they may have other reasons for this framing or blocking, but this is the effect that we're going to get. We're going to get this framed effect in one direction and the decking in the other direction, and that's why we block it out the way we have here. So there's different ways of doing this. There's not one particular way, but what you've got to always consider is that no deck board can be placed without it having a physical support at both ends. It can't dangle in the middle in between framing because it will just break. So if you have some unique pattern, you actually have to provide additional support. If I'm going to show this example, this is kind of neat. If you change the direction, oh, I have to zoom in on it. Sorry about that. If you change the direction on a deck, so the boards are going to run in one direction and then they're going to run in another direction, you got to provide that extra framing. Again, here I'm going to try to draw the example so you get a good picture of where it goes. There we go. That line is awfully thick. And then it will go there, and then this board will go to here, and this board will go to here. So essentially what they're doing is they're providing a change of direction in the boards. And this is typical on any sort of corner detail where you want the boards, and I'm going to show this one, changing direction. Notice how the framing has to change to accommodate supporting each of the pieces. So these two ends are going to meet together somewhere here, and then these ones over here will butt up against them in a miter joint. But notice the support that's provided. This is all additional blocking, and that blocking is meant to support that. None of these end cuts are dangling in midair. They're fully supported. So you can do corners, you can change direction, you can do anything you want with the decking. The design of the pattern dictates the framing below, not the other way around. So we can create all sorts of things with our deck patterns just to make sure that, you know, we provide the correct blocking. Okay, I'm going to go in the opposite direction this time. I'm looking at this. Oh, they've already provided the detail here. So let's zoom in on this just to take a look at it. So now somebody's provided a triple edge. And notice what they've done also. They've raised the outer rim board. Well, they didn't raise the outer rim board. They double rimmed the outer boards. So that now you've got a clean edge and you're only seeing the sides of the boards here. So you can see the framing pattern that they've done to provide or to make this happen and to be able to provide that support. Those are all considerations that you've got to make when you're determining how this structure is going to go into place and how the deck pattern is going to be supported. Notice each one of these boards, and I'm just going to sketch very quickly, each one of these boards, the ends are supported on a joist. The ends here, oops, are all supported on a joist. Sorry about that. That looked real messy. So let's see if I can draw it this way. I haven't got my line command in here. There we go. There's my line command. So each one of these boards is drawn or is supported along that joist member or that blocking. See, in this case here, the ends are being supported on a joist, the ends here are being supported on the blocking. So depending on the direction, that's what you're going to do. Now, one of the things I want to caution you is against these 45-degree angles to the actual joist framing. That works well if the spacing of the joists are 12 inches on center. Only because you got to realize once it's at a 45, the span here from that point to this point increases. It's not 12 inches anymore. So that decking has to be fairly sturdy to be able to span that distance. And you can imagine at 16-inch centers, you're getting upwards, I don't know the exact number, but somewhere 20, 24 inches for your span. So you're going to get some wobble in that board. You're going to get deflection, and it's going to feel bouncy. And that always scares people. Now, it could be perfectly safe, but it scares people. It doesn't feel secure. So be careful with your diagonals. Try to avoid them if you can, and you may not be able to, and that's fine. That's part of a decorative feature, but you got to provide the proper support in order to maintain those diagonal shapes.